Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
Hello? I think this is working. Is there a Shiver here?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. Hey, Miami Bat. Thank you. I just had a configuration error with Streamlabs, so we're good now. And we are now live on both Twitch and YouTube instead of just Twitch. Yay!
He did manage to kill the geese.
Yeah, the terrible space geese.
In space, no one can hear you honk.
There's actually so there's a thing in Canada. We have these we have Canada geese here. They are named after our country. They are a symbol of our country, and everyone hates them because they are total assholes. And somebody noticed recently in Star Citizen that there is a marker in the game that says neutralize Montreal geese. I suspect Turbulent put that there.
Someone with a very bad experience.
Oh, man. Yeah, right? Hello, Desmarius. How's it going? So,
you got to speak to him in his own language. Howdy, stranger. It's been a while since I've seen you in them here parts.
We're just going to do the rest of the show like this. Go ahead, Shiver.
Are you making fun of my accent, boy?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm so ashamed and proud of myself at the same time.
Oh, that was excellent. That made me happy. So,
it's good to be back.
Yeah, welcome back, Shiver. Shiver decided to wander into other realms for a while.
Literally. It's nice to be back. Something that's, still got a family, not been taken over by the mainstream with product placement and such,
Huh. Nice mug.
Thanks!
I was on there recently.
You were, actually.
Yeah. Table of Horrors, everybody. So...
We're role players, not role models.
That's for sure. I'm no role model. So, Star Citizen. Well, we've been off. We were off last week. We got a lot of folks. Folks are having some personal, real life issues, and Shiver, was also murdering dragons. So that also happens.
It was quite. We were doing apparently a dungeon crawl. And somehow it wasn't
dungeon
actually
crawl?
me. A dragon crawl. Right. We're doing this dragon crawl. Let me tell you, it did not go well. Someone, not me, I swear, triggered 2 other encounters at the same time, so we were fighting 3 groups of enemies in a dungeon all at once. I kind of made up for the fact that we skipped an entire level by just jumping through a hole.
Is his first name Leroy?
I have no. I don't remember who it was. I was just like, what's going on now? I barely understand this game.
Nice.
But yeah, shout out to Boudette Club for having me on. I'm going back next week.
Awesome. So lots of stuff has happened in Star Citizen in the last 2 weeks. The Banu Merchantman is on the roadmap, which is, a long time coming for some folks. Obviously, it's not going to be out for a while, but it's on the roadmap. And of course, we have Invictus Fleet Week coming up, and we've gotten all these hints thrown about bangles and javelins and Idrises and all sorts of interesting things. And some of the stuff they've been testing out in the PTU. Also, the Tonk was in the PTU briefly. As Miami Bat said, it was removed because it was murdering the game. And excitingly, the Hercules Starlifter is now in the PTU as well. And we have a great video of that for you in a bit, which is rather entertaining. So let's move over to show and tell. Boop. So I figured I should show this off first because it's just nice. Man. It's been a while since we first saw this ship.
It's changed a fair old bit since like the Kickstarter teaser video, I suppose.
Yep.
But it's looking good, isn't it?
It looks great. I've heard that it looks like a penis. That's been going around.
What?
Very spiky though.
Who's if that's what yours looks like, you need to get that checked out.
I was gonna say. Oh man.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. How does that look? Really?
I mean, it depends, I suppose, upon what exactly issues you have, I suppose. Oh man. Sorry, trying to do a thing while I'm also talking at the same time. It's not easy.
Thank you, Carbide Edge. Eric will do a wave for you as soon as his hands are free.
Yep, I sure will.
He's still clearing off the feathers from his keyboard.
41 months. Thank you very, very, very much. That's amazing. Oh, lovely issues of Streamlabs. All right, so we're going to switch this to automatic, and we're going to do...
So before we go away from the Bengal,
okay.
If in the likely event it's going to be an Invictus, do you think we're going to have an interior on it? Because someone's going to try and get in it.
Of course.
Or do you think because...
we went away from the Bengal because I'm an ass. There we go.
Well, we don't need the Bengal on screen. We all know what it looks like, apparently.
Like a penis, yeah.
Yeah, apparently. Because I think it was the Idris when that was in that they didn't put the interior in that, probably because of the server restrictions that are currently in place, and it would kill frames.
As far as I'm aware,
So I would imagine
the Bengal does not have an interior in the yeah. It won't have an interior for Invictus Week. Hello, Stormy.
Hey, Stormy. But it's definitely going to get blown up. Someone's going to try.
Oh, for sure. But I think
very disappointed if they don't.
Honestly, I think the reason the interior's not in is because they don't want to, even if it, they don't want people to even be able to bug their way into it, Like, they just don't want any possibility of spoiling the interior of the Bengal. Because I think that
Thank you,
reveal... Richard Sky, thank you very much. I think they want to save that reveal for Squadron.
I thought, now, spoiler alert, for those of you that don't know, it's enough time to close your ears. I thought the Bengal only appeared at the very conclusion of Squadron, and you were mostly based in an Idris.
That is true. But the end of the game might be like you walking around the Bengal reporting to whatever officer.
Oh, what a tease that would be.
But the vast majority of Squadron 42 is generally thought to be aboard the Idris. Yeah, yeah. In fact, we even know its name, but my brain does not is not picking it up right now. But yeah, one way or another, no interior for the Bengal in Invictus Fleet Week here, but
Miami,
we
the
will,
Bengal-
or they've been heavily hinting that we will get to see the interior of the Javelin. We, in fact, will be able to walk around inside the Javelin. So,
Oh, that's hot.
yeah, that's going to be pretty spectacular.
I don't know how long it would take you to explore it, but
Long time.
I think it was the Bengal that's so big it has an internal train.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and so does the Retribution does too, which is even longer. So we finally moved on to oh, look at that. There's a showing thing in the background. Great. Let's make that go away. There we go.
Yeah, still small. Yeah, Eve ships are monstrous.
Medical beds for the hospitals. A lot of this work is being done by the newly formed game design or game development team at Turbulent, and a lot of their work is looking really nice. And I love this shot. So this is from Reddit, but it's such a great shot. It's the Tonk just sort of peeking out of the bushes. The title of this of this picture was Bush Sniper.
It's very sci-fi World War II, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Extremely. And this picture, which dominated the Star Citizen community for a good week solid. This is the new atmosphere of Crusader. Looking very nice with the clouds.
Nice.
Is that what the title should be, CS? I'm not sure that's for true, but all right. I really enjoyed this shot here. This is just some prop work that they've been doing, and man, does it all look really good. Really, really nice. I think this was actually done by the. Hello, thank you, Griffin. Thank you. And of course, the Hercules Starlifter. That thing is a fucking beast. Just massive. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
I just love the sleekness of it. It looks like a modern sci-fi massive carrier, doesn't it?
It totally does.
It just oozes power.
So cool. So cool. And we're back around. So that's it for the pictures. Let's move along to
it does look... Oh, thanks. Oh, Stormy, now all I'm going to see when I see it is, look, it's a turtle.
Damn it, Stormy. Look what you did. All right. Bye-bye to the images and hello to the media. So this is immediately a video of the Starlifter. And you're probably going, well, no, Nikara, that is a video of the M50. But just watch and wait. Also, man, did those planets ever look good right now. Jeez. Well, moons in this case.
Didn't want to do that.
He was trying. It's possible. I'm actually quite impressed that the Hercules didn't also blow up.
He was close.
He was close. He almost made it out. There's just a little lip down there at the front end. But that's so cool. It's
They
such
tried that with a C2.
so cool. This game is going to have so much potential for gameplay. It's just ludicrous. Including, practicing flying your fighter ship through your friend's other ship. Oh, man.
Every time you see it, you think, "Oh, he's gonna make it." Oh no, of course he doesn't.
Nope. I like how his corpse comes right out of his ship and just flies forward into the ground. Anyway, moving right along. Next up, we have. By the way, that video was by Shui on Reddit. And the next one was by Royal Donkey on Reddit. Great name. I thought this was a really interesting video. So this is I haven't been playing a lot of Star Citizen lately. I only play occasionally so that I don't get too, oversaturated with bugs. But this is the automated defenses of Port Olisar. Someone is trying to blow up his ship on the pad, and they got just wrecked. Oh, man. Nope. Amazing. All right. So, that's enough of the unofficial videos. Let's go do some official videos. We're going to start with last week. So, here we go. This one is all about scanning. And we start off with a clip sort of showing off those features. And a bunch of new UI. The new UI looks absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
The new UI is very intelligent because it's got absolutely everything, and you can just go look at a piece, and you don't have to think to yourself, "Oh shit, what does that mean?" You instantly recognize that's my shield strength, that's my shield section. This is my speed, current speed. This is what I'm aiming for. This is how it's actually measuring up. This is target speed. All just quick visual aids, which is extremely important when you're in these very fast-paced combat situations, obviously.
Checking something here. I'm dropping frames. What is going on? I never drop frames. Just a minute. I'm going to try and address that problem.
Quick, pick them up.
Yeah, no shit, eh? Sorry, just trying to deal with this performance issue here before we move forward. Hey, stop dropping frames. Frickin' Chrome was eating up too much RAM, I think.
Oh, it's want to do that.
Mm-hmm. But of course, I'd have to reopen a Chrome window so that I can watch the Twitch stream. There we go. Let's try that. Let's try that and see if it's better. Come on, stop dropping frames.
While you're sorting that out, a quick shout out to Griffin and Fastcart, both of Soul Citizens, who do their very own podcast, which is far more popular than ours, over on twitch.tv/Soul Citizens. They have a passion for this game that is unrivaled.
I think we're in good shape now. I think I stopped dropping frames. Sorry about that. I just wanted to get under control because David is having a lot of trouble with that before too. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to get it under control. Okay. Yeah. So this is a really long clip. Let's see. 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 Let's But I really love this section of it. Like, this is the new UI that we're going to have for scanning after we saw the previous UI a few times. Very, very nice. I cannot wait to see this in the game. And honestly, scanning underpins, like, the whole game. You know, you need to be able to find locations, find other ships, find things in terms of exploration. So, like, find objects for exploration. Plus, we have a freaking we have a freaking telescope in the game too. So,
and this is just the first rollout of it. Obviously, when it comes to long-range scanning, things like that, more in-depth exploration and scanning, there's going to be a lot more to do, and I'm looking forward to see what that's going to be. I think, obviously the majority of Star Citizen backers are looking forward to seeing exploration come to its fruition.
Yeah, I really can't wait for all this stuff to come out. It's going to be great. That's what that was showing. I didn't quite get it when I first saw this video. And now we start the clip over again, even though it's like 4 minutes long. That last clip where he scanned the planet, it was actually showing locations on the planet, I think, where there were minerals. I was wondering for a minute what that was actually showing us. Because that's something that I've been really waiting for, too, is really we should be able to scan from orbit. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to. And in order for the game to work, we're going to need to be able to scan from orbit. Doesn't have to be super accurate, but you need to know generally where to set down your ship, right?
I mean, I would imagine that would be part of the mining loop, as it were. You would have to have someone who's ready to scan it down, get a rough general idea, and then as you get closer and closer, pinpoint the location.
Try not to die.
Yeah, it encourages teamwork rather than making everyone just be a lone wolf, which you could still do, but to save time and effort to just get to the thing faster, you work as a team.
Yep.
And then you would have your scan operator constantly scanning out, looking for any individuals of a low moral standard.
Like you.
I wouldn't harass a miner. Miners do good work, and if you pirate a miner, you're screwing yourself over in the long run.
That's true. Who do you pirate then?
Transport haulers.
Shiver.
I have to say, who do a fantastic job that would make me mind-numbingly bored. But everyone, each to their own. But you harass and pirate a transport hauler, you get the products directly, or you can just ransom it. They're a bit more open to being ransom, whereas someone who is mining for resources is a bit more screw you. In my experience, experience of reading things online. Oh god. Don't even want to be a pirate in the main game. That's the thing that's kicking me.
What do you want to do in the main game?
I want to be an anti-pirate.
Ooh, yes, a privateer.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Like a mercenary?
But
is that your thought?
More pirating the pirates.
Okay.
Wait for them to do whatever it is they do, so they get all the grief, and then I'll just be like, okay, now I'm going to go and attack them afterwards.
Awesome.
Sometimes I might be a bit Robin Hood and be all like, hey, you lost this.
You might that might be a really good strategy to actually work as kind of a, right along that edge case of mercenary and even like
bounty hunting.
Bounty hunting, but also almost like a bodyguard, where you'd be like, okay, sure, you pirate, you can come and try and steal this shit from this cargo carrier. I'm just going to take all of your shit.
I mean, the downside to being an escort server. Oh god, why does everything I say whenever leaves my mouth, I'm like, Fastcar's going to have a field day with this. The downside to being an escort service for transport haulers is you don't get to pick the fight on your terms.
Yeah,
You're
for sure.
very much aware that you're going to be ambushed, most likely, and you've got to come up with something to combat an ambush, which is not easy because you're fighting on the other person's terms.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does puts in a significant element of well, being behind the eight ball, I guess. Unprepared.
And no one likes escort missions.
No. No. The person you're escorting is never does what you want them to. All right. So next up, we have more of what I was talking about before, which is the medical locations. So these are sort of the onboarding for the Turbulent team in Montreal. So they've created a game development team, and they are going to be working on a ton of things. But one of the first things they're doing is building the hospitals. So you see all these various little props for the hospitals, including, high-tech gurneys and so on and so forth. Although it's funny because the gurneys are actually quite similar to what we currently have, so I thought that was kind of funny. Not exactly the same, but All right.
Oh, the textures on this game always amaze me of just how smooth they are. No rough edges or aliasing showing or anything like that. Nice. Oh, fuck you, Fast Car in advance. Nice curvature on them and things like that. It's nice. They've taken a lot of time into these textures. It shows.
Yes, absolutely. Although I think part of that was just trying to bait Fastcard, but okay.
It wasn't.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So next up we have. I'm pretty curious what the whole deal is going to be with these medical locations, but we will get into that another day. For now, we're just going to sit and stare at this for about 20 minutes. This is jump point art. Well, not art. It's jump point decorations in the game. So they've been working on the clouds around the jump point from Stanton to Pyro. And they're coming along pretty nicely. I cannot wait to see this in the game. One of the things they were changing was they wanted it to look interesting regardless of which direction you approach the jump point from. And that was that's a pretty hard art problem, so they were going back and making it look nice from every angle. Any thoughts about our cloud tech here?
Well, I mean, just in general thoughts, clouds in general in all games have really vastly improved recently.
Oh,
so seeing this coming along, and that these aren't going to be static objects. These are going to be swirling and maneuvering and dancing in the stars. It's going to be wonderful.
It's going to be great. And yeah, thanks to super powerful new GPUs for particles, because couldn't do this stuff before. Oh man.
I mean, you could, but it'd be like, that frame of the cloud looks nice.
One frame every 5 minutes.
Here's coming the other frame. It's coming. It's coming.
Oh man. All right, next up we have a little shot of docking. It's it's really impressed me how fast. I mean, docking's sort of been a thing that they've been thinking about for a long time, but once they actually were like, hey, we're gonna do docking, it was done in a couple months. I think they were waiting for a lot of the underlying stuff to be ready.
Yeah, physics grids are going to dramatically help with this a lot.
Yeah.
And can I just say, look at that lighting.
Mm-hmm. This is without ray tracing. I know they're not looking at ray tracing right away, but they probably will eventually, and it's only going to look better. It just blows my mind. The lighting is already really good.
Imagine what it's going to be like if they implement HDR in there with ray tracing as well, and you just, yeah.
I'm actually
Of
curious.
course, we. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I'm actually curious how much just the new renderer gives us without anything else. I'm really intrigued to see what happens surrounding that.
Comes down to a lot of how they want to implement it as well, because Vulkan is a wonderful bit of tech that can help lower end machines run things that should only be run on higher ends. But then they could also take advantage of the fact that you've got all this potential mathematics power as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next up, we have the refinery worker. Look at this. Oh. Come on. Switch over. Come on, Twitch. You can do it. There we go. Wow. I like these suits. They're cool. They're all modular.
He
It suits
does,
people.
Stormy.
Bits and pieces.
Stormy says he looks like he's at a nuclear disaster site. It's like, yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think that refineries are particularly nice places, even in even in Star Citizen. Oh. They do such a great job of making cloths and soft materials actually look like they are cloths and soft materials. I can remember not so long ago in games, they just everything looked raw, like it just didn't look right. The clothing never looked right. Looked hard and like flat. All right. Ba 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 ba. More work on armor.
There isn't any refinery kitty. Oh, I love that thought. A hello. Well, not it's
I'm
a space
curious
kitty, isn't it? A
what
space
you
kitty refinery.
I'm curious what you think of this armor because I think it's really interesting.
Hmm.
It's quite different from a lot of their other armor. It's pretty neat. Very much
Needs a cloak.
needs a cloak. Interesting. I get a very strong
I
Star
don't
Wars.
like colors.
I get a strong Star Wars vibe off of this armor.
Needs a cloak and a dagger.
Yeah, very Mando indeed. Very Mando indeed.
Hmm.
There is a dagger. It's right on his chest piece, right on his bandolier.
I think you missed the point.
Generally, yeah.
Point. Dagger. Point. It's funny because you'll see dagger has point. It's funny now I explained it.
Really?
Yep, that's how that works.
Oh boy. All right. Orison coming along. Coming along and getting closer and closer to being done. Man, this whole landing zone is going to be so cool.
Imagine now playing in virtual reality and you're just going to freak out from the heights.
Oh yeah. Which I probably will do at some point. Star Citizen is going to be quite an experience in VR. If they can ever get it working properly.
I was thinking the same, Stormy. Very similar, like some of those really high class and modern Dubai. I don't know if they're office towers or something, but with helicopter landing pads and tennis courts on the roof. What kind of a psycho plays tennis on a roof of a high-story building?
Oh man. So the idea with this is that
Actually,
they wanted to basically present a really nice sort of face to the world for what is ostensibly a shipyard, you know?
Tina has actually asked. He can't. Well, he says he can't wait for all the people of lesser morals just to ram their ships into all this. Surely, yeah. That's what. What are they going to do to stop that?
Pew pew
Do you
pew 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 pew.
Yeah, but then you've got people like Test Squadron who've probably got more auroras than Orison has photon charges, and they're just going to make a demolition derby.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I have no idea what's going to happen or what they're going to do, but it's going to be interesting. Ah, sandboxes.
First day of release,
Yeah.
40 years in the future, and CIG are just going to be like, oh, damn, why didn't we think of that?
Oh man, love it. So next up is the stuff from this week, which was capacitors to start off with. So this is an interesting gameplay mechanic. What do you think of this idea? Because I know you watched this episode.
I did. It's one of it. It's obviously they're looking at balancing for combat. Because this one of the reasons that I personally loved energy weapons was the fact of I can just keep queuing days on end. Other guy might have ammunition-based weapons. Long term, if I can just keep the fight going and waste his ammo, I've got the potential to outgun him.
Yeah,
as
he'll
long as I
run
can
out of
outmaneuver
ammo
him.
and you can, take him down.
But the way that this now works is your focus. You've got to get a better result focusing. So yes, I could still, in theory, try and outmaneuver the guy with just ammo-based weapons until he runs out of ammo. But I'm also got to balance my energy, so my maneuvering thrusters, my engines are going to perform at the rate that I need them to do, at the cost of maybe shield power, because then I need to power my guns. But then I might need to think about where else this power needs to go to, because what if I've messed up? Suddenly he's on my tail, and I've got to divert the power from the guns, the shields, and all that sort of thing. But at the same time, how many hands do I need to play this game?
Yep, and then capacitors are a whole other aspect, right? Because you can suddenly boost the power of one of these systems with this capacitor pool of energy.
It's that early analogy that CR himself said of it's not going to be so much of paper, rock, scissors as, thank you, Tina, as a chess game. Maneuvering yourself, maneuvering parts of your ship around, the energy levels, things like that, making sure the right piece of shield is getting power, so you've still got enough energy left over to be able to get a couple of hits out on this guy, and so on and so on. It's a lot more thought to things, which they're going to really like. Not everyone, it's not for everyone, but hopefully they're going to do it in such a way as combat is easy to get into, and you could spend as much time learning the intricacies of combat, where to shove your energy at the right time in the right place to do such a maneuver, or you could just be like, combat isn't my focus, but I need to know how to fight.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what they're going to aim for, is like basic combat is not hard to do, but if you're fighting somebody who is really skilled, they will still beat you because they will be able to manage all their ship systems, at the same time as maneuvering and shooting you. And I think that's sort of where they're looking for that skill. They're looking for people who actually are skilled to get that edge, right?
Hmm. But I mean, and Tina has pointed out the fact that 99% of the time, numbers, just raw numbers, will win.
Oh, for sure. Always. Always. You just might have, if you're really good with your ship, you might just be able to squeak away or, get that extra shot off or whatever, that can help. Especially with a ship like the Vanguard, if it actually, is working the way it was designed, which is that you are the first one to arrive at a battle, you do a whole bunch of damage, and then you basically wait for backup, and all the systems are dual redundancy, so you can hopefully stay alive waiting for your buddies.
And doing it this way as well, 2 or more pilot ships are going to be that much more interesting because you can always just turn around to your mate and say, look, I can fly like the wind, but I can't shoot my way out of a barn. Can you help me out with this? Or can you do the energy management? And encouraging the multi-crew in that way, just 2 pilot ships.
Yep.
Your Reliance gonna, you're gonna have your pilot and your co-pilot really needing to do the teamwork, be able to communicate properly, and it gives that the team, the duo, and more that much more of an edge and a purpose and a point.
Absolutely.
A poise.
That's why, and that's how you create games that actually can utilize multi-crew mechanics, is to make the mechanics, I don't want to say complicated, but optimizable enough where
Deep.
it is more useful.
Deep.
Yeah, deep. Yeah, exactly. It's you get a significant benefit from having that second person. Yeah, I could watch this stuff all day. It looks so good. All right. Next up, we have.
That's the one thing that it just slightly showed it off there in the video there of there's still a bit of jousting going on.
Uh-huh. So next up we have some of the very early work they're doing towards getting multi-crew in a better place. And what this really has to do with is all of the different operator modes that they currently have in ships. They're going to allow them to be broken out into various different stations so that we can actually start having, like, these are operator modes that already exist. So this is actually using the systems already in the game to create a multi-crew experience. Obviously it will just be step 0.01 of building on that to make the full multi-crew thing happen. So the examples they gave were things like shield management, scanning, piloting, obviously, mining. One of the ones that I was actually thinking about is the possibility of, on the mole or something, having different people scanning, flying, and mining simultaneously, which would be kind of cool. Yeah. Any thoughts?
It's starting to open up the whole multi-crew thing, isn't it? Was that the new one of the more recent? Wasn't even that now. The Constellation video where they send. It was when they announced the variants and they land on a planet. And you had all the different crew members saying, "Oh, I can detect this atmosphere. Here's a landing spot." And all
That's
that sort of thing.
definitely not recent.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. But in the grand term of things, what else have we had from the Constellation in the way of videos?
Right.
So it's a step towards that, to having that become an actual reality in game. But can I do my missile rant?
Of course.
I don't like the way they're doing the missiles. I can understand it from metagame purpose of balancing, of you can either fire guns or you can control your missiles. I assume as well that this means that I would be able to shunt off controlling missiles to someone else and I've still got full gun control.
Yeah, exactly.
But is this going to be the case in single-seat ships?
Good point.
Is my Gladiator now going to be this? So I can either use these torpedoes. Well, yeah, I can either use these missiles and torpedoes, or I can try and shoot. And in which case, that I don't like that. I can understand it for balancing because no one likes missile spam, but I don't like it from the point of today. Well, not even today. For years, fighter pilots have been able to fire their Vulcan cannon and shoot off a missile.
Yeah. Do we know how fast you can swap between them? Like, is it
Don't think they
just
said.
one keystroke and you can swap back to your weapons?
I don't know. One of the things that struck me as a bit ambiguous about the whole thing was, so can I just quickly switch over to the missile thing, get a lock? Apparently, I've got to wait to see what kind of lock, how strong it is, and all that sort of thing. Fire the missile, and then quickly switch back to my guns, or do I have to wait for the missile to fly off and impact with it, and I'm stuck in missile mode the entire time? I can't imagine it's going to be I'm stuck.
Given what they were saying about the missiles, how they've now given them they're basically ships now. They've given them a full IFCS. They have a lot of programming built in. I think that once they leave your ship, they are doing their thing. They're off, doing their programming.
And will this mean I need to go into missile mode to fire dumbfire missiles?
Very good question. Yeah. So that's another thing that we would need to see. There's specific talk about the missiles, though. I really do like their well, first of all, I like that they actually have fuel and run out of fuel. Yes, please. If you fly really well, you should be able to escape a missile.
Agreed.
So I like that aspect of it. I like the option you have where you can, if you're flying a big dumb ship like the Starlifter and someone shoots a missile at you and you're like, I can't outfly that fucking thing, you can still fire countermeasures. But if you're in an M50, you can just outfly it. Try and hit me with a missile.
I mean, I think there needs to be a certain bit of skill in there rather than just, I am M50, I can out-kite a missile.
No, that's not what I meant.
No, I know. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
People need to actually be able to maneuver rather than just rely on the fact that X ship is so fast it's faster than a missile.
I was thinking more about maneuverability, whereas where like the Starlifter, good luck. Like getting it out of the way of a missile.
I'm not sure if it was a Hornet or an Aurora really early advert where they actually fly into an asteroid belt and they're doing all these crazy maneuvers just to negate the effects of the missiles, which is, a very cool and valid tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I would like to have. So, it's like, oh, there's an asteroid field over there. Let's bring this fight over there, and we can even the odds a bit with this fight.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really neat, actually, over the years, seeing all the just little bits more strategy added here and there, and a little more, and a little more, a little more.
Yeah.
And you can start to see more of where they're looking to go with combat. I haven't done any combat in Star Citizen in quite a while. The experience for combat has not been super awesome in the PU for quite a while, mostly server problems. But I think once we start to see these changes come in, I'm going to try and blow some stuff up again.
Yay!
Carlisle. A fleet of eclipses, eh? That sounds terrifying.
Ironically, they blot out the sun.
Jeez. All right. So you mentioned there is an issue with the question document. What is going on?
Yeah, it might
with
just
that?
be me.
Oh, is the bot working? I'm assuming not.
The bot works, but when I tried to pull up the question sheet, it looked like gobbledygook. So it could just be me.
I can
That is
pull it up,
possible.
but there aren't any questions, so.
It's just a list of like 6 or 7 names, and you're like,
Oh, well, that's weird.
huh?
Ask your question here. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to test it. Make sure this sucker's still working. Oh, yeah, it still works.
Oh, so it is just me.
Yeah, just maybe refresh or something. So yes, please do ask some questions. And we will get to those as soon as you ask them. I was also going to show off or not show off, but talk about the roadmap a little bit. So let's do that now. Wish me luck. Alright. Is this going to cooperate with me? Yes, it is. Tried to set this up beforehand, but I did not have any luck. Let's go like
I need to relearn how to internet.
that. I thought that was a baked-in skill now, Shiver. No?
No, no.
All right. So let's go take a look at release view here. I'm going to make sure that this is actually showing what I want. Oh, good. It looks all right. Excellent. We can actually show this on stream. Yay. All right. So. Roadmap roundup from our friend Mr. Acapella, also known as Mr. Bradley. Look at this
That's
right
Mr. Bradley to you.
here. Look at this right here. Huh? Look at that. Look at this guy. Huh. Never thought I'd see that again.
No, no one cares. No one wants that ship anymore.
Oh. Well,
They're
they should
completely forgotten about.
I mean, they should probably just cancel it then, hey?
Yeah. It was too bizarre to market.
So we have the Banu Merchantman, the Apoa Santokiai. I think I got it.
Bless
Kind
you.
of. And the Drake Vulture, all going from unannounced to in progress. That is pretty exciting. The Vulture especially, because it is a salvage ship. It'd be great to have a not gigantic salvage ship in the game. For when salvage comes online. All right. We also have the Drake.
Still looking forward to seeing how they do salvage. What kind of system they're going to be. I hope it's going to be. I mean, I expect the first iteration to be extremely basic. Of just fire salvage beam at ship or something similar to that. But
yeah.
I do hope that long term it's going to be like you get to very much like my impression of
Hard
what
Space
is that
Shipbreaker.
salvaging. Is that what it's called?
Hard Space Shipbreaker. I think so.
Might be. Yeah. You get to literally just break down the ship panel by panel or system by system, that sort of thing. I'd like that.
I think that's basically what they're going for. Well, not quite that. So my understanding of the salvage system that they're looking to implement is sort of a 3-phase one. One part is you can just strip the hull off of a ship, like the outer hull, and you can actually use that material so you like strip it off and it's held in like a canister, and then you can like spray paint it onto your own ship to fix, holes. So that's sort of the basic salvage. The second part is you can EVA over to their ship or dock with their ship once you've disabled it and go and steal all their shit, including like their shield emitter, their engine, their power, their power plant, their shield, their go rip their weapons off, all that lovely stuff. and take all of the different components back to your ship, which are probably worth a lot. and then if you have a reclaimer handy, you can shove the corpse of that ship into its giant grinding like maw.
I'm probably living on cloud nine with this.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would really like is the potential to make something out of wrecks. You know how we've seen wrecks have been just converted into bases and they've just been used for simple shelter?
Uh-huh.
I would like the potential for wrecks to be partially salvageable in situ. I would like to be able to say, I want to hook up a generator to this section, and if I repair enough of it, there's going to be power restored to this section. I can use that to my advantage. Something like that. Retooling it for my own purpose. I know it's extremely unlikely. More than likely, it's not going to even be possible. But I would love to see something like that, where I'm actually making use of a wreck.
The game system should allow it. It's all up to whether or not they want people to do that, I think. Because the basic game systems are there. You have all of these connections are going to be made in the game. Everything's supposed to work systematically. So if you have a ship that is damaged, you should be able to, like, even let's say it's crashed on the planet, but the cockpit is intact, you should theoretically be able to get some of the systems back online if you were providing power some way, I would think. Now, it's all about the developer. Like, they can do it. It's doable.
Yeah.
It's about whether or not that is a gameplay direction they are interested in exploring, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I really want them to do, and this is sort of, dovetailing off what you were saying, I want to be able to find derelicts and actually fix them. Like, find a ship that's been partially damaged or disabled out in space somewhere, and, like, if I have the right parts and the right know-how and the right, tools, I should be able to get it working again so that I can actually use it. I think that is something that would provide a lot of really interesting gameplay. It doesn't have to be easy, which I don't think it would be, but I think it would, even the possibility would provide a lot of gameplay for people.
I mean, they have said in the past that the only way to get a Bengal would be to salvage it. Come across this hulking wreck in space, keep it super secret somehow, and slowly repair it over time, and your end goal would be to get the Bengal, which I love the idea of. Do love that idea.
I want to see that in the game. I really do. It would be...
Absolutely.
That's the type of gameplay that would be super interesting for people, I think. And I mean, talk about your attachment to a ship. Like, if you actually had to rebuild the ship from the ground up, I think that people's attachments to that ship would be a lot stronger, All right. Back to our roadmap here. So, we have 1.3 out. And of course, they've actually now retooled this a little bit more, so you can click here to see the previous releases, or of course, get rid of them. Upcoming, so this is for release at the end of June, which they're going to have to really hurry on because they had a hard time getting 3.13 out. But we have Crusader, which I cannot wait to see with its new atmosphere. So for those who don't know, Crusader will be totally replaced in the game. What we had before was a placeholder. So the planet will be completely replaced with a new planetary body with those new clouds that we saw in the picture earlier.
They filed the planning permission in the basement of the Intergalactic Council. There were no objections.
Perfect.
God, I hope someone gets that reference.
I don't actually. I really wish I did, but...
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, I don't know.
The whole reason that Earth was destroyed was they were building an intergalactic highway through, and they said, "Oh, no one objected after we put the planning permission in."
Along with Crusader, we get the Orison Landing Zone.
I love you, Tina.
Oh.
Tina just said, "Why am I here still?"
Yes. I mean, why are you here? What is it about us that you find so alluring? We have, of course, FPS radar and scanning online. Sorry, that is. I mean that in and of itself is really exciting. It's something they really needed to get some kind of sense of your surroundings in FPS, especially during combat, but period really. Weapon charge and drain. The actor feature team personal inventory. Inventory coming along. Radar scanning and ping. Healing tier 0. So we can heal apparently very slightly. Is my guess. The
Always
guidance
handy.
and control rework for missiles. Hacking, very, very cool. I can't wait to see what even the first iteration of hacking looks like in game. Very excited for that.
I do wonder how they're going to bring that about, because hacking is one of those things that when it is implemented in a game, 90% of the time it's a very simple, let's just get this done and over with, whatever. I mean, the basic core of it. One of the games that did it really well was Deus Ex series, I thought. Made it into its own very entertaining mini game inside. Hopefully they're going to do something like that, because they've also got to eventually implement it in a way that PvP hacking exists, if that makes sense to you, because you are going to have these specialist ships that are just going to be going around and trying to hack into other people's computers and their ships, consequently, to shut down their shields, to shut down their weapons. And you need someone who's going to be quick, ready, willing, and able to stop this in some way or shape or form. So that's what I mean when I say PvP hacking, which is a really bizarre term to say.
Yeah, no shit, eh? Yeah, no, it's that's a tough one, right? Because like you're back to needing like always, you need a very complex system at that point to make it robust enough for things like player to player hacking. There needs to be you gotta have ways of, one player being able to interfere with the other player during their hacking attempts and stuff. It's going to be very interesting to see what direction they take with that. So we just got a question, and for this question, we actually had some images provided for us. So I'm going to put those up on the screen here. And big thank you to Dino for that question. All right. So the question is about the Redeemer, which was shown off on the in the PTU show floor there briefly. This is when they were testing out some Invictus stuff before Invictus actually happens in later this week. I think it's the 21st that it starts. So let's get that going here. Just a moment. Alrighty. Redeemer. Open. Oh, come on. Gotta love it when computers just totally don't listen to you at all, right?
It's always at the worst times.
Yep, generally. There we go. And Redeemer. Let's make the Redeemer bigger. Why are you so small, Redeemer?
Is it cloaked? Oh, there it is.
Yes, it's cloaked. They borrowed the technology from the Klingons. So
is it just one image we have?
No, it's going to roll through every 30 seconds.
Okay.
We'll have new ones pop up.
Okay.
I could shorten that time, by the way. That is ideal. Let's take that down to 10 seconds. I've always kind of loved this ship. I know a lot of people have problems with the engines. I love the engines. I think it's cool. I don't know how useful it's going to be in the game, but it's cool.
The engines are the weakest point for me, I think.
You don't like them?
I just find it a bit weird.
Yeah, but weird is good.
Yeah, but it's the fact that there's literally no other ships with that kind of technology, and in fairness, it wouldn't look right giving them the engines that look like the rest of the ships either. It wouldn't fit the aesthetic that they're going for.
Yeah.
And
Although
I would like to see the engines taken a bit more advantage of, like literally going from that to opening up for vertical takeoff and landing would be quite neat.
Well, I want to see what they actually do with the animations for the ship, because I want to see that too. I think that would make it really cool if they actually have a lot of animation in those engines and they actually swivel around and separate out and so on to give it a lot of agility. I'm very curious.
I do like it though.
Me too.
I do like that ship.
My favorite part is still the huge shield emitters on the top that actually like protrude from the ship. It's so cool.
It's got a slight feel of the hover ships from the Matrix to it.
Yeah.
Ever so slight.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. Yeah.
But I'm glad they haven't changed the design drastically. They've still kept the rough outline to it. I like it. I like that.
Really neat ship. Makes me wish that I'd actually gone into the Invictus stuff, but I was not available when this was happening. But obviously, it's coming out to the live PU very shortly. So,
do they still have the team that created it? Or because I'm not sure if they hired the whole team. They might have only hired one or two.
I think they hired one or two of them. I know one of them between the time when the next great starship happened, they hired them. I think they worked for CIG for a few years and then they left. That's my understanding. I think one of them worked there for a while and then left. I'm not sure if anybody who was on the team still works there, but does anyone else know? Because I'm not 100% sure.
There was no interior in the display model. Oh, that's a tease. I loved the previous interior.
We've seen some. There was a big debate on the forums about the interior of the Redeemer, by the way, this week. That included a bunch of really long dev posts about it, so that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see the ship when it's done. I want to see it in action. I really, really am curious to see what those engines look like when they're in action. Like when you're going from orbital flight to is there a VTOL mode? Do they do this?
Yeah. I hope they do. I know they won't, but I hope they do.
I know they won't. Got no hope.
It's just a little bit. I think one of the reasons they wouldn't do it is it's a bit of an eyesore. Do you remember when the freelancer engines would be and the Cutlass engines were notorious for just going crazy? Yeah. It didn't look very nice. It was a neat idea, but they were too active.
The part of that's
in my opinion only.
The part of that's programming though, right? They were.
Yeah.
They could have programmed it in so they didn't react quite as violently as they did. That was pretty long ago, though, and they've mostly just moved away from those types of designs where they have the whoopie whoop engines. Although I do kind of miss them on the freelancer.
It was kind of jarring though, because just seeing these two engines go whoop, 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 whoop. I found it jarring. This is only my opinion. If you disagree, that's absolutely no problem. I respect your decision. It's just I personally didn't like it because it was just.
That is entirely fair. Now, would you fly?
I'm not trying to poo-poo anyone's opinion either. I'm not trying to say that if you like that, you're a bad person. Don't hate me.
Would you fly a Redeemer?
Oh, absolutely. I nearly bought one, and then they took it off the market, and I was like, "Damn you!"
Well, it'll be back whenever the ship is ready to go in the game. So I think it. Well, actually, we have a whole thing where we can show the roadmap. Let's go take a look. Also, thank you very much, Dino, for showing us that. So we have no other questions right now, so let's go take a look at the roadmap. Chrome capture, there it is. Where is the Redeemer? Ships. There it is. It is in Q3. So it'll be coming out at the end of September. So that's pretty cool. It'll be in the game.
Well, I mean, at the moment, don't forget everything on the roadmap is subject to change.
Of course,
given any
this says tentative.
given thing at any point.
Tentative. Oh my god, I'm so excited that the Ares is going to be in the game. I love that ship to death. I love a ship that's just a giant gun. They're like, we need some way to fly around this gun, so build a ship around it.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of the theory of the retribution?
Oh, totally.
Massive
It's a
space
massive
cannon
real
with a ship
gun.
built around it.
Yeah, totally. So really love the Ares Starfighter. Both of them, they're just awesome. I like the Ion a little bit more, but man, gonna be a lot of fun. The A2 Hercules
Any ship's
coming
got
up.
I think it's called a Delta Wing.
Oh yeah.
I find them very pleasing to the eye.
So, and of course, in 314, the Constellation series is finally completed after years. The Taurus was, I think they totally screwed themselves with the Taurus because it's a different hull, which is like, so it immediately makes it harder for them to make. It's a lot cheaper ship for people to buy, but it is also a different hull, so they had to make it separately. Made everything harder. So for 314, we also have, of course, along with your healing Tier 0 stuff, you have your Cure Life medical tool. Also, let's reiterate that Cure Life is quite an interesting name for a place that's making medical tools. Anyway, and finally getting all the XMLs from the old vehicles into their data core. Very exciting bit here in 314. Vehicle module swapping. Modular vehicles get to actually have modules. Very likely starting with the Retaliator, as you can see in the little picture here. Super excited for this. Modular ships are really neat, especially.
Yeah.
I have a thing for the Caterpillar. I don't own one. I might never fly one, but the whole idea of it is super cool. Having all the different segments you can have attached together. So I really hope we see some good movement on the module swapping thing, or on the modules for the Caterpillar. Now, my question
Is that a pun? See some movement on the module swapping?
Probably. Probably. I'm too tired for there to be puns, though. My question to you is, so we've finally seen movement on docking. We've finally seen a little bit of sort of background movement on the hull series, the C, the D, and the E. We have now seen some movement on module swapping. Do you think that and they've also fixed some bugs with spawning vehicles inside other vehicles and for moving vehicles in and out of other vehicles. Do you think that's all connected to them finally fixing the physics grid problem they were having?
Yeah.
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 In my head, it all seems to connect together. I think they're all.
in my uneducated opinion, it would seem like this was always the goal with physics grids and getting the ability for the engine to recognize object X is object X is contained within object Y. They are not the same vehicle, and avoiding a collision and inevitable blowing up. Yeah, but like I say, uneducated guess.
And being able to resize physics grids.
Hmm.
That was I know for a long time that was just they were having so much trouble with that. That's what held up there are a couple of things that held up the Hull C, but that was one of them. Couldn't really get the vehicle to work in the game engine for a while. Because it changes shape and size. But I think module swapping is probably also related to that. And I'm really excited to see them going this direction. I think modular ships is a really cool idea. I know they went away from it for a while because it was making more work for them, but I hope that we see it sort of come back. And for all of the modular ships that do exist in the Star Citizen universe to finally get made, like David's Endeavor. That he asks for every episode. Where's my Endeavor? Oh, man.
I mean, the Endeavor is the culmination of a lot of different techs: physics grids, modular, science, exploration, farming, pharmaceuticals. It's a lot of different gameplay all wrapped up in one huge ship.
Yep, that's why I've always said it's probably gonna be the last ship. It's gonna be. You need all of the other gameplay in the game to work to make an Endeavor. You're even down to, of course, it has one module that is an observatory. So you need the crazy long range scanning to work. Which, yeah, just insane.
I mean, depending on how they want to do it as well, I have no idea which bit of server tech it's tied in with, but if they're actually going to be, if you're going to be able to look into some radical major sci-fi telescope and see parsecs and parsecs away, you're going to be able to, I don't know if that's partially rendered to texture, or part of server meshing and all that sort of thing rolled in, but you're going to have to see that in real time as well.
I think it's both of those things, Shiver. So I think it's going to be rendered to texture because I think what the game is going to do is basically give you a camera at that location that you can see that location. Now, obviously breaks real world physics, but who cares?
We travel at faster than light speeds at times in this game.
Through jump points, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But also you do need to, if that area is in another server, it needs to be able to communicate that. So I think that it's going to be both things, which is going to be real fun to make work.
Yeah. I mean, just the underlying tech of having two servers communicate to each other, turning these ones and zeros. Yeah, I know it's not really ones and zeros. Turning the code into something that you as a human can understand in real time, or at the very least, very little latency.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Yeah.
So we have a second question from Dino again. Thank you, Dino. Dino asks, in the scanning episode of Star Citizen Live, they kind of indicated that scanning long distance would be more equipment-based and not skill-based. This disappointed me because I like the skill-based probe scanning in EVE and wish there was a similar gamification in Star Citizen. I would say, based on other game mechanics, I wouldn't really take it as ironclad yet until it's done. Especially long-range scanning, which I don't expect to be done soon.
Is it on their radar?
Obviously, right? Obviously, it will be partially equipment-based because you need to actually have a long-range scanner, or an observatory that the fucking Endeavor has. But I do think that there needs to be subtle. I think subtlety is the best word. I think that if you've been, scanning for a long time, this is your thing. You go on people's ships and you scan. I think that there should be very subtle signatures that you can see, like very small amounts of signal. You can go, I think I know what that is. I've done this, 1,000 times. I think that is this thing, you know. So I'm curious to see if they can build in that kind of subtlety into scanning that would make it a really cool game mechanic. But I think we're gonna have to wait a bit to see whether that comes out. They should just give it to Tony Zarevek for a week, and we'll be fine.
I'm with him. I loved the scanning in Eve. I thought it was a lot of fun. Just throwing out your probes, and I hate your fast car. Pegging various locations, bringing out swapping your probes. I hate you so much, fast car. Bringing out your probes and swapping them around, getting right down onto a signal, finding out if it's something like that. But I would also hope that it's not equipment based purely. Your equipment could be your potential. You also, as Eric alluded to, you need the skill to be able to do certain things as well.
Mm-hmm.
You could start off and you've got this signal and you slowly ping it down, and then find out it's nothing. Take a note of what that signal was like. You get a feeling of this sort of signal, and hopefully you can learn and become a better scanner, because I have no idea what a scanner job would be. What would be the title for a scanner? Scan operator, technician, administrator, and hire your services out.
Yeah.
Because it is a big factor in exploration. No two ways about it.
I think in mining they call it a scanner operator. Because there's the Orion. This is another thing I'm super fascinated to see, because they did a big design document about how Orion mining works. And I'm super curious a couple years on whether or not any of it is still relevant at all. But I think they're working their way up to it. But I'm very curious to see what Orion mining looks like when it's in the game, because it was very complicated and completely different from the way we're mining right now. So I'm curious.
It's the peak of the mining career is operating the Endeavor, because it's not Endeavor. Fuck you, Eris. Operating the Orion, because it will tie in with other systems, at the very least transportation, because if you want to strip a mining belt, then you're going to need someone who comes in and takes your cargo off, and that's going to tie into, you might need an escort for taking the raw materials back, and it's not just a single thing. One of the things in Eve was you could take the Hulk, go mining, fill your Hulk up, go back, strip it very slowly over time. If you wanted to take it to the next step, you would have someone who would scoop up your cargo containers and take it back for you. SC wants to bring it that little bit more, because the Orion has got onboard refinery, hasn't it?
Yep. It sure does. Yep.
Yeah, so you want to be able to get this supply chain going, and you either hire people who are going to be specialized in this, or you have an org that's dedicated to this, or you just have a group of friends, an informal org of, feel like chilling out today, let's go mine and just have a chat. You'll run A to B, I'll go strip mine this, you get the smaller bits that my Orion can't pick up, and all this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's working back into that, not just teamwork, but the gameplay loops that have yet to be implemented, but you can see the potential for them, and we all hope that is what they're going to take advantage of.
Exactly. I'm super fascinated with the Orion because of how much detail it got in its original gameplay document, and how self-contained it is, because it's one of those ships in Star Citizen that unless they change the design, but I don't think they will, it cannot land. It just can't. It can land if it's a smoking wreck that's falling from the sky, litho braking, but but it doesn't have legs. It doesn't have any way to land on a planet. It's going to be in space. There's going to be a bunch of people on board. There's a lot of things to do. You know, you have big turrets on it. You have a claw. You have the laser operator. You have the missile operator. You have drones that you can send out. Like, there's so much going on, and I think that it will turn into this, like, what do I do in Star Citizen? I'm part of an Orion crew. That's what I do. You know?
I know that you do not play MMOs to solo play, but there are a lot of people who will play an MMO to solo play just to see how far you can get. Sometimes I certainly count myself as one of those sort of people, and I do hope that you're not completely locked out from, if you do want to play in an Orion effectively solo, you would be able to hire NPC crew. I hope that's still on the agenda.
Yep.
It's an option. It's not going to be, you're not going to get rich quick, but I would hope that it is still an option for you to, if you so wish, to solo in an Orion or any multi-crew ship that you can, but just not as effectively as if you had actual humans.
Yeah.
Actual real humans that drink water.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that should be the goal of their NPC system, not to have somebody who can necessarily be as effective as a human, but can vaguely competently man a station, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, the way they've designed the game, they kind of have to, because some of the ships have huge crew numbers, you know? You're never going to get, you know, well, not never, but rarely going to get, like, 60 or 70 people to crew some of the huge ships.
And you shouldn't be locked out from that play just because I've only got 7 friends I play this game with on a regular basis.
For sure.
I don't think it's every single argument for and against it is perfectly valid, but I am of the opinion that I don't like to be locked out of potentially interesting gameplay. Like, I don't want to be locked out from ever owning a Bengal simply because I've got no friends. and it is perfectly valid argument for you to turn around and say, well, don't get a Bengal if you haven't got any friends. Yeah, you're right, but I don't like the thought that I'm locked out from it.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with that. I agree with that, especially because I personally, when I play MMOs, I often will like to do things on my own. Part of the reason I have the ships I have is most of them are exploration ships. In my head, my thing that I want to do is just be out on the, like, frontier edges of the game world looking for shit. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Sometimes you do just want to get in Aurora and just go off the second star on the left and straight on till morning. Sometimes you want to gather all your mates up, get on your Polaris and say, let's go killing, boys.
Exactly. I think that's a good time to you know, I'm gonna check if we have any more questions first, but we do not. I think that's a good spot for us to wrap it up. What do you think?
Yep.
So tomorrow,
what the hell happened there, Miami? There's a sentence.
Tomorrow we have oh wow, my brain just stopped working completely.
SpaceX something.
No. Wow. Good job, brain. Soul Citizens is tomorrow evening at I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern, is that correct? Put you on the spot.
You're asking me to convert a time zone that I have no idea about, and I'm in Japan time as well?
Yes. Come on. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Go and watch that. It's an excellent podcast. And I've been on there myself. I had a lot of fun. And we will be back on Tuesday with the Unnamed Game Show. And, of course, next weekend. And the Unnamed Game Show is Tuesday, but it's the same time as this show. We talk about every game that is not Star Citizen. Partly because we have Jake on that show as often as we can get him, and he's not allowed to talk about Star Citizen. So, um, and we like games, so that's And next Saturday we'll be back here with another relay station. And yeah, Shiver, what do you have to plug?
I think it's Monday in your Western time zone over. Oh, really? Over
Twitch.tv/Table of
there.
Horrors.
Nitro and I. Well, Nitro's playing Transformers this week. I'll be taking a mick out of him. Wednesday in your Western time zone, we are playing Vampire Masquerade, our Victorian Age V5 Chronicle, which is I'm biased obviously, but I'm quite proud of it. I think it's good fun. I think that's all we've got.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, I should plug. Next week I won't be here because I'll be over on the Bullet Club playing D&D again.
Yeah, so next Saturday is kind of a maybe for us because of the real life stuff going on right now. If it's only me, I probably won't run a podcast by myself. So I would put that episode at sort of a 50-50 right now. I know we've been a little scarce lately, but real life stuff really takes priority over Star Citizen, unfortunately. But we'll be back as soon as we can. I did want to quickly give a shout out. There's a bunch of things I got to mention about real space stuff. Go check out our Space Race channel. Lots of exciting things happening lately. Starship SN-15 for SpaceX landed successfully after its first flight. Might fly again. Very exciting stuff. The orbital flight plan for the first Starship orbital flight has been published by SpaceX. That's so cool. Might happen this summer. Oh, you can completely obscure your face. There you go. Just gone. China has successfully landed a rover on Mars. As long as it's still operating, they basically become the second nation to ever successfully operate a spacecraft on Mars. Russia had one that landed successfully, but died less than 2 minutes later. So, yeah. So congratulations to them. Unfortunately, this morning, Rocket Lab had a failure of their second stage on their mission, their 20th mission. So hopefully they can get back in action very soon. And SpaceX is just, it's crazy. By the end of this month, they'll have their 16th launch this year, which is just mind-blowing rate. They're almost launching once a week, which is just insane. But it's going to provide internet access to everybody, so that's kind of cool. Go Starlink. So that's real world space stuff. Check out our Space Race channel in Relay. We often have space stuff in there. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you, everybody, and have an excellent rest of your weekend. Bye.